What do you know about Porzingis in terms of like his medicals, and what do you expect for him going forward?
Well, before I start with that, I want to thank Buddy and JK for their contributions, for what they meant to our locker room. Two really well-liked guys. Buddy's honestly one of the best teammates I've ever seen in my life. The energy, the enthusiasm, the genuine humor and joy that he took from the game, whether he was in the rotation or not, what he brought to us every single day is going to be hard to replace. Just what kind of person he is. And JK is a really good young guy. You know, he's it's been obviously a rocky road, for him and for us, and it wasn't always the right fit. Obviously, kind of in and out of the rotation. I think that was tough for him, tough for us as well, trying to navigate everything. But through all of that, I always enjoyed being around him. I respected him and the way he treated his teammates. Talked to him last night, saw him this morning. We had a really good chat, and I wish both those guys well. Buddy's well into his career, and I hope he extends it by multiple years. And I really hope JK finds his way, and whether it's Atlanta or wherever else, I really want to see him succeed. And I'm sorry that it didn't happen here. And we all take ownership of that, and definitely things I could have done better. But as I said, in the end, two really quality human beings, and we're going to miss both.
What do you hope JK learns from his experience past 4.5 years here?
Well, the thing in the NBA is opportunity is everything. What you learn as a young player is you sometimes just need the right situation. Most players actually need the right situation. Most people need the right situation, and so I'm hopeful that he can take what he's learned through his experience, the ups and the downs, the good, the bad, transfer that to his next opportunity, and seize that opportunity, whatever that means, in whatever the circumstances are.
What do you think about the Porzingis fit, and how quickly do you think he can give you something on the court?
Yeah, I mean, we texted today. I tried to call him and didn't reach him. He called me back, so we've exchanged calls and haven't talked. But obviously, he's a established player, the kind of player we've been looking for years. Legitimate three-point shooter, rim protector. Tough to find that combination in one player. And the biggest thing is his health. I don't think we would have made the trade if we didn't think he could be healthy and consistent in terms of being in the lineup. So that's the plan. Obviously, he's got to get here, and Rick's got to work with him. But Rick and the staff did their due diligence, and so there's a hope that we can help him really get right, and when he's right, he's a hell of a player. So we're looking at a guy who really fits what we need: size, space, shooting, rim protection. I mean, every team needs that, but we've always needed that since I've been here. We've never really had a player quite like him, and it's one of the reasons Quentin Post has played a lot and really built momentum, because he's kind of fits that profile. But obviously, Kristaps is a much more established player, older, more experienced, and so we'll see how it all plays out. But we're excited to get him.
Steve, you mentioned, back to Jonathan for a second there. You mentioned there were things that you could have done better. What are some of those things you feel like you could have done better with this?
I just think, without going into too much detail, we organizationally, I think, just the right path, for us, for him. It was always tricky to navigate, and we all we all share in that, myself included. I'm not going to go into detail, but he was undoubtedly put in some tough spots coming to a championship team his rookie year, and a team that was continuing to try to compete at the highest level. And he got here with very little experience, and that's a tough thing to reconcile. And I wish I had done a better job of making that happen.
With Porzingis, what can you take from his fit with Al Horford in Boston and how they can maybe work together now with the Warriors?
Well, this came up pretty quickly, so it's not like I've watched tape with the two of them or anything. But you're talking about two guys who are well established as great NBA players and skill sets that really fit any winning team. And in the coming days, I'm sure we'll start looking more deeply into, can they play together? Did they play together in Boston much? What that looked like? But we're obviously today we're focused on Phoenix, and but that'll be coming in the next couple of days.
When do you expect him to get here?
I believe he'll be with the team by Saturday in LA. I don't think he'll be.
He's supposed to arrive tomorrow night in LA. How much?
I wouldn't expect him to play Saturday, but he'll be with us and hopefully soon thereafter.
Just, I guess, as much as you're going to miss JK and Buddy and Trace, just how much of a sense of relief is there in the locker room that the deadline has passed now and that the team is kind of past that?
Well, you could ask individual players. There's always angst, and I know Draymond was feeling some stress. I think he expressed that, and other players' names were being mentioned. So I know on an individual basis, it's always a tricky time and a tricky day. And when the deadline passes, there is relief. As a team, it's a different vibe. We had a shoot around this morning, and the vibe to me was one of sadness for, losing guys who we love and who, friends and people you go to dinner with. And it's one of the weirdest things about this profession is that you become really close with someone and you're with them literally every day, all day, maybe for a season, maybe for 2 or 3 years, maybe longer, and then all of a sudden it's just, and I think that was the prevailing notion this morning at shoot-around. It was more one of sadness than anything else.
How's Steph doing? Is he getting closer?
He had a workout with Rick after shoot-around, and I have not talked to either one of them yet about how the workout went. But overall, feeling better for sure.
D'Anthony's questionable. Do you have any updates?
He's going to play.
He's going to play. Okay.
Coach, you traditionally we've seen some of the best player tandems usually work in pick and roll in some capacity, but it feels like the way the game is shifting, it's also happening in handoffs. You have two guys that are some of the best ever with that. How are you seeing when you have two guys that can play that kind of two-man game and handoffs or inverted pick and rolls, add a different type of pace to advantage compared to just the pick and roll?
Yeah, I think the modern game is one of versatility and playmaking, and the more players you have who can create something offensively, whether it's with a pass or handling the ball or both, better off you are. And I don't know that Kristaps is a multiple dribble guy, but he's for sure a guy who you can run offense through and in a lot of different ways. And obviously the size is something that we really coveted for both ends of the floor. Al has really come into his own these last few weeks, feeling really confident, comfortable. And so, in a lot of ways we've got some things that are clicking, and then obviously we're trying to figure out the loss of Jimmy and now being without Steph. So there's always something in this league you're sorting through, and that's kind of what we're in right now.
Curious. Get back to JK just 1 second. It's probably broader than just him, but as an organization, is there anything you guys can learn from the experience with him, I guess with Wiseman too, that you take with you now moving forward?
I think you have to learn from every experience. I was the GM here once, and I learned a lot from that experience. I was not a great GM. I made some mistakes, and I thought one of the best ways I was prepared for my Warriors coaching job was because of the 3 years that I had as GM and thinking about organizational dynamics, thinking about all kinds of things. Once you go through, these types of experiences, you learn, you grow, and so absolutely we should learn from these experiences, but we should learn from every experience. And we're in a business where it's really hard to make everything just right. So difficult because there's no right or wrong answer. It's not a math equation. And every team is trying to kind of find a sweet spot. And we found one, obviously, for whatever it was, 6-7 years. It was just almost unprecedented. And it's so hard to do. And so as you go, you learn, you try to do it again, you learn from this, from that. Those are details that I wouldn't discuss, with you, but for sure we will have internal discussions with organizationally to think about, what we need to do going forward, and that should be happening all the time, and it is.
You guys obviously made a run last year. You've had the Jimmy ACL tear recently. There was, pretty public pursuit of Giannis, and then, you're in this moment now. It feels like maybe the fan base is a little deflated about what's ahead this season. What do you still think can be accomplished over the next few months?
Well, I think we still have a good team, a very good team. And even without Jimmy, I feel like we can make a playoff run. The ceiling is absolutely lower. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say we can be as good as we were with Jimmy. There's no way. But I believe in these guys. I believe in the chemistry. I believe in the veteran leadership. If we have good health, I think we can make a really good push and be a playoff team. And when you're a playoff team, you never know how it plays out. And that's the message. Our goals haven't changed, but we've got to get through the forest right now. We're a little bit in a stretch without Steph, without Jimmy, before the All-Star break. We're trying to find our way. But this is what the season's about, 82 games, and you have ups and downs, and you just keep fighting and keep finding your way, and then ultimately see if you can be healthy going into the playoffs like last year and make a run.